Welcome back to Beyond the Box Score. It's a full Saturday slate in the NBA, and we're breaking down every matchup that matters. From the Mavericks battling the Wizards to the Nuggets defending home court, we're going beyond the numbers, into the storylines, trends, and angles that can make or break your ticket tonight. Stay tuned, every game has value if you know where to look. The lights shine bright in DC as two struggling teams look to rise in the Southwest Division, while Washington's 1-7 start has them anchored to the bottom of the Southeast. The numbers tilt slightly toward the Mavericks, holding a 61% chance to take this one, but momentum is fragile on both sides. For Dallas, this is about survival and rediscovering identity on the road. For Washington, it's about breaking a 6-game skid and proving this young core can compete under pressure. With early season standings already shaping narratives, this matchup feels less like a routine November game and more like a test of resolve. Dallas averages 108.3 points per game but allows 113.8, a sign of an offense still searching for rhythm and a defense leaking second chances. They shoot 51.5% inside the arc and 32.1% from deep, led by Anthony Davis with 20.8 points, 10.2 rebounds, 1.6 steals, and 1.2 blocks per night. Davis has been the lone pillar of consistency. D'Angelo Russell's 5.6 assists per game keep the ball moving, while P.J. Washington's 13.6 points and 1.4 blocks make him a quiet two-way force. Yet inefficiency remains the Mavericks' theme: missed rotations, stagnant half-court sets, and an assist-to-turnover ratio that mirrors a team still learning each other's timing. Washington, on the other hand, plays faster but looser, scoring 111.9 per game while surrendering 128.1, the league's highest differential. Alex Sir has emerged as the franchise's heartbeat with 19.0 points, 8.4 rebounds, and 2.2 blocks, pairing raw power with touch around the rim. Bub Carrington's 4.2 assists and Cam Whitmore's defensive burst define a group full of energy but short on structure. The defining matchup centers on Dallas's size and interior defense versus Washington's tempo-driven perimeter attack. Recent form tells the story of urgency. Dallas has dropped 3 straight and 5 of 6, their last win a grinded-out effort over Detroit. They've been competitive, losing 3 of those games by single digits, but closing quarters has been their undoing. Washington's path has been even more chaotic. 6 consecutive losses, most by double figures, capped by a 138-107 collapse to Boston. Their defense has disintegrated, giving up an average of 124 points over that stretch. Still, their home crowd offers sparks of life, and their young lineup continues to flash streaky offensive spurts that can catch teams flat-footed early. All eyes turn to the star duel, Anthony Davis versus Alex Sir. Davis has carried the Mavericks on both ends, shooting 52% from the field and 74% at the line while anchoring the paint. His balance of finesse and footwork remains elite even as minutes mount without much support. Sir, meanwhile, has been Washington's revelation, a 54% shooter with the agility of a wing and the motor of a rim runner. Their battle is a generational mirror, the proven veteran imposing precision against the fearless rookie testing limits. Russell's mid-range orchestration and McCollum's backcourt leadership for Washington could dictate the offensive tone. Yet what truly elevates this matchup is the tempo each side prefers. Controlled half-court execution from the veteran group versus the explosive transition pace powered by Sir's athleticism and instinct. It's not just experience versus youth, it's structure meeting spontaneity. Whoever controls that rhythm likely controls the night. Tactically, Dallas needs control. Expect heavy half-court sets, pounding the paint to exploit Washington's defensive gaps and slow the pace. Rebounding will be decisive. The Mavericks average 43.0 boards per game to Washington's 45.3, but second chance containment could swing momentum. The Wizards thrive in chaos. When they run, they score. Their bench offers unpredictable punch with Bilal Koulibaly's hustle and Whitmore's energy capable of flipping quarters. But the question is whether that spark can last against Dallas's veteran rotation. The Mavericks' Achilles heel remains turnovers and transition defense, while Washington's weakness lies in defensive rotations and rim protection once Sir sits. Dallas steadies the ship. Their interior dominance and veteran poise outweigh Washington's volatility. Expect Davis to command both ends, Russell to control tempo, and the Mavericks to finally find rhythm from deep against a soft perimeter defense. Sir will post numbers, but without consistent secondary scoring, the Wizards fade late. Dallas ends its skid with balance and discipline, while Washington's rebuilding lessons continue under the bright lights of Capital One Arena. The total pick for this match is under 238.5. The stage shifts to Atlanta, where the 7-2 Los Angeles Lakers, unbeaten on the road, meet the 4-4 Hawks in a clash that carries more weight than early standings might show. Los Angeles rides a 5-game surge that's restored championship rhythm, while Atlanta looks to steady itself after an uneven start. The matchup predictor gives the home side a 59.7% edge, but this one feels closer, a collision between a team rediscovering dominance and one desperate to define its identity. The Lakers sit atop the Pacific Division while the Hawks hover at .500, locked in a tight Southeast battle. Statistically, these teams mirror each other in scoring, Los Angeles at 119.6 points per game, Atlanta at 118.6, but their methods couldn't be more different. The Lakers play through balance and precision, shooting 50% from the field, 33% from deep, and 78.9% from the line. Their offense hums through movement and spacing, powered by 26.8 assists, and anchored by DeAndre Ayton's inside control with 16.7 points and 8.4 rebounds. Austin Reeves remains their engine, 31.1 points, 9.3 assists, and 51.9% shooting, a guard whose dual threat forces defensive recalibration every trip down the floor. Defensively, Marcus Smart's 1.7 steals and 1.2 blocks form the backbone of a unit that limits opponents' rhythm with structure and energy. Atlanta thrives on speed and perimeter flow. The Hawks average 117.4 points, shooting 48% from the field and 34.7% beyond the arc. Jalen Johnson's breakout, 20.6 points, 8.6 rebounds, 58% shooting, has been the season's early revelation, while Trae Young's 17.8 points and 7.8 assists show his playmaking brilliance even amid rhythm struggles. Dyson Daniels provides defensive punch with 2.5 steals per game, but Atlanta's interior defense remains fragile, especially with Young and Luke Kennard sidelined. Momentum belongs to the Lakers. Their last 5 wins over San Antonio, Portland, Miami, Memphis, and Minnesota have averaged 122 points with sharp late-game composure. The offense is spreading touches with 6 players in double figures and bench units maintaining pace. Atlanta's recent stretch tells a different story, alternating bursts and breakdowns. They edged Orlando but dropped duels to Indiana and Cleveland. The Hawks are playing well in stretches but haven't sustained 4 quarters of control. The duel to watch sits between Austin Reeves and Jalen Johnson, 2 emerging stars with drastically different arsenals. Reeves thrives on pace control, surgical passing, and scoring efficiency, 51.9% from the field, 34.4% from deep, and 90.8% at the stripe. Johnson, on the other hand, brings force and versatility, shooting 58% overall and using his length to impact both ends. Reeves commands through poise and timing, Johnson dictates through speed and aggression. Their contrast, finesse versus power, will decide who bends the game's rhythm. Ayton's matchup with Porzingis adds intrigue, pitting positional balance against shooting range, while Smart's defensive disruption could tilt possessions late. Expect the Lakers to lean on discipline and interior efficiency. Their ball movement has been crisp, their spacing sharp. Atlanta will counter with pace and perimeter pressure, trying to force turnovers and ignite the break. But with Young out, the playmaking burden shifts to Johnson and Daniels, which may test Atlanta's offensive timing against a Laker defense that switches fluidly. Depth favors Los Angeles. Vanderbilt, LaRavia, and Vincent provide versatile minutes, and Smart's experience anchors critical stretches. The Lakers' blend of control and confidence breaks through Atlanta's pace. Reeves continues his stellar run, Ayton owns the glass, and the defense clamps late. The Hawks compete early but fade in the second half, undone by turnovers and the absence of their floor general. The total pick for this match is over 225.5. It's an early season test between two teams trying to define who they are and where they belong as the Portland Trail Blazers take on the Miami Heat. Portland enters at 5-3, third in the Northwest, riding the momentum of a strong road start. Miami stands 4-4, sitting second in the Southeast, fighting to establish consistency after alternating wins and losses. The projection slightly tilts toward Miami with the home court edge in a matchup loaded with pace, playmaking, and power. Both teams average over 120 points per game, setting the stage for an explosive contest inside Kaseya Center. Portland's statistical profile tells a story of balance and aggression. They pour in 120.4 points per game, shoot 44.6% from the field, and own the glass with 42.1 rebounds. Miami, meanwhile, counters with 122.4 points per game on 49.4% shooting and a strong 35.8% from deep. Their offensive rhythm thrives on flow and spacing, built on precision and execution. Deni Avdija drives Portland's offense, averaging 24.4 points on 46.5% shooting, supported by Donovan Clingan's 9 rebounds and Drew Holiday's 7.6 assists. Miami builds around Norman Powell's 23.2 points on elite efficiency, 51.7% from the field, 47% from three, and 94.9% at the line. He's flanked by Bam Adebayo's rebounding presence and Davion Mitchell's playmaking, forming a system that emphasizes control and chemistry. Momentum slightly favors Portland, having won 3 of its last 5, including a 121-119 triumph over Oklahoma City and another gritty win against the Lakers. Miami's recent stretch has been erratic, big wins followed by defensive lapses. Both teams are scoring at elite clips, but Portland's recent shot-making surge and late-game resilience stand out even against stronger opponents. The star duel between Avdija and Powell defines the night. Avdija thrives on ball dominance and physical drives, while Powell is pure rhythm and efficiency. Miami's supporting cast might be deeper, but Portland's offensive hierarchy feels sharper. Holiday orchestrates, Clingan anchors, and the Blazers push pace with creativity. Miami, however, thrives in structure and late-game discipline. Tactically, Portland must win the boards and keep turnovers low. Their 16 per game could feed Miami's transition attack. Miami must contain Avdija's drives and force isolation play. Bench depth also matters, with both teams missing key rotation players. Expect a game that swings multiple times, with Powell and Avdija trading momentum shots deep into the fourth. In the end, Miami's shot quality and composure at home should prevail. The total pick for this match is over 232.5. Finally, the Denver Nuggets host the Indiana Pacers in Ball Arena, a meeting of elite balance versus desperation. Denver, 5-2 and unbeaten at home, sits second in the Northwest Division, while Indiana's 1-7 start has them at the bottom of the Central. Denver's machine hums at full power, averaging 124.6 points on 50.3% shooting. Nikola Jokic continues his MVP caliber form, 24.1 points, 13.4 rebounds, and 12 assists per night on 61% shooting. Around him, Jamal Murray's 22.7 and Aaron Gordon's 18.1 stretch defenses, while Christian Braun and Tim Hardaway Jr. provide scoring bursts off the bench. Indiana's story is grimmer. They average 111.6 points per game but shoot only 40.8% from the floor. Pascal Siakam leads with 25.6 points, 8.1 rebounds, and 5.9 assists, carrying the load as injuries thin the lineup. With key players like Nebard, Jackson, and Toppin sidelined, the Pacers' depth and spacing have suffered. Denver enters on a 2-game surge with 4 straight home wins, powered by altitude and efficiency. Indiana has dropped 7 of 8, undone by defense and late-game lapses. The duel between Siakam and Jokic will define tempo. If Jokic slows it, Denver dominates. If Siakam pushes it, Indiana has hope. But Denver's metrics crush the comparison: 50% shooting to Indiana's 40%. A 25% higher assist rate, and a massive rebounding edge, 47.9 to 35.1. The Pacers' best chance is pace and disruption, but Denver rarely turns it over, averaging only 13 per game. Their depth, chemistry, and rebounding should smother Indiana's transition game. Expect Denver to control tempo from the opening quarter, building a steady lead through Jokic's orchestration, Murray's scoring bursts, and Gordon's interior presence. The Nuggets extend their home perfection with another dominant showing, while Indiana continues to search for cohesion. The total pick for this match is over 225.5. Next is Toronto Raptors vs Philadelphia 76ers, two Atlantic Division rivals colliding in Philadelphia in what feels like an early season tone setter. The Raptors arrive at 4-4 overall and 2-2 away, riding a 3-game winning streak that's reignited belief in their young, balanced core. The 76ers, 5-3 and 2-1 at home, are seeking to snap a 2-game skid after a strong start that had them sharing the division's top perch. With both teams trailing only New York in the standings, the stakes are sharp: rhythm, confidence, and positioning in a suddenly deep Eastern race. The win probability tilts toward the home side, but Toronto's recent surge and steady defensive form suggest this is no foregone conclusion. It's a collision of rising efficiency against elite firepower. Toronto's offense has quietly matured, averaging 120.5 points on 47.3% shooting with balanced contributions across the rotation. The Raptors lean on pace and spacing, generating 30.5 assists per game while holding opponents to 118 points. Their attack flows through Brandon Ingram's 21.1 points per game on 54.5% from the field and Scotty Barnes' all-around motor, 15.1 points, 6.9 rebounds, 6.1 assists, 1.6 steals, and 1.5 blocks. Emmanuel Quickley's control in the backcourt, 6.4 assists, 43.3% from the field, and 37% from 3, keeps tempo steady, while Jakob Poeltl's interior play adds stability on the boards. Toronto's style thrives on movement and secondary creation, a rhythm-based offense supported by efficiency from multiple levels and improved shot selection. Philadelphia, however, counters with top-tier explosiveness. The 76ers average 123.3 points per game and shoot 47.3%. From the field, thriving on transition flow and spacing. Tyrese Maxey's 33.5 points and 8.5 assists per game set the tone: blistering pace, quick reads, and relentless rim pressure. Kelly Oubre Jr. adds 18.6 per game, and Joel Embiid, averaging 21.6 points and 5.6 rebounds, anchors their physical interior presence. Andre Drummond's 7.6 rebounds and Adam Bona's rim protection at 1.6 blocks sustain their defensive structure. The Sixers' perimeter rhythm, shooting 40% from deep and 85.7% at the line, makes them one of the league's most efficient offensive groups. Yet their defense, allowing 119.3 points, has shown slippage in rotation and transition coverage, particularly late in games. Momentum could be key. Toronto rides wins over Milwaukee, Memphis, and Cleveland, showing poise in high-paced games. The bench is contributing, and late-game spacing looks improved. Philadelphia, by contrast, has dropped 2 straight, a 132-121 loss to Cleveland and a 113-111 stumble against Chicago, exposing inconsistencies in closing defense and perimeter containment. Their early wins were fueled by scoring bursts, but as opponents have forced them into set offenses, efficiency has tapered. Toronto's recent form suggests stability and discipline, Philadelphia's volatility and firepower. The spotlight falls on Maxey and Ingram, dynamic scorers with opposite styles. Maxey's 47% shooting and 40% from deep showcase speed and aggression, while Ingram's 54% efficiency reflects calm precision. Maxey fuels Philadelphia's attack with drives and playmaking, while Ingram counters with control and mid-range mastery. Ingram excels in structure, while Maxey thrives in chaos. The secondary clash, Barnes vs. Embiid, pits versatility against power. Whichever duo controls the tempo will likely determine the game's outcome. After analyzing both teams, the prediction leans toward Philadelphia. Tactically, this is a clash of pace versus precision. Philadelphia's offensive ceiling is unmatched when spacing clicks, but Toronto's balance and assist-driven structure can neutralize momentum swings. The Raptors will aim to slow possessions, forcing the Sixers into contested half-court sets while leveraging Barnes and Poeltl to control rebounding margins. The 76ers will seek early clock scoring, exploiting transition mismatches and Maxey's burst against Toronto's switching defense. The Raptors' key lies in turnovers. They average just 14.3 compared to Philadelphia's 14.5, and if they maintain that composure, they can tilt possession count in their favor. Bench depth could matter, too. Toronto's rotation consistency has outperformed Philly's experimental lineups, especially with Paul George and Dominic Barlow sidelined. Expect a tense, possession-heavy contest, where Toronto's collective rhythm tests Philadelphia's defensive resolve. Maxey will get his numbers, but Ingram's efficiency and Barnes' versatility give the Raptors the balance to withstand late surges. The Sixers' offensive pace will push them close, yet the Raptors' structure, rebounding edge, and half-court execution tilt the margin. A poised, team-driven statement win for Toronto, proving that balance can beat speed when execution holds under pressure. The total pick for this match is over 229.5. Chicago Bulls vs. Cleveland Cavaliers, two teams built on contrasting basketball philosophies collide in Cleveland, where the Bulls, 6-1 and 1-1 away, arrive leading the Central Division, while the Cavaliers, 5-3 and 3-1 at home, look to make a statement on their own floor. With both teams playing winning basketball early, this matchup shapes up as more than a November test, it's an early barometer for control in the Central. The metrics lean heavily toward Cleveland with a 75.6% win probability, reflecting both their balanced roster and home dominance. For Chicago, it's a chance to prove that pace, execution, and emerging chemistry can neutralize star power. Chicago enters averaging 120.4 points per game, one of the league's most efficient outputs. Their scoring stems from high movement, inside-out rhythm, and the versatility of Josh Giddey, who leads with 23.1 points, 9.1 assists, and nearly 50% shooting. Nikola Vucevic anchors the glass with 12 rebounds per night, maintaining a 52% field goal clip and commanding the paint through smart positioning. As a team, the Bulls shoot 49.6% overall and 34.4% from three, thriving on spacing and secondary playmaking. Defensively, they've shown balance, 8.0 steals and 4.9 blocks per game, with Trey Jones emerging as a defensive spark at 2.3 steals per game. The challenge lies in turnover discipline, 14.7 per game, against a Cavs team built to punish mistakes. Cleveland counters with elite individual firepower. Donovan Mitchell's 31.9 points per game headline one of the league's most dangerous half-court offenses. He's converting 57.6% from the field and nearly 46% from three, numbers that highlight both precision and volume. Behind him, Evan Mobley provides interior balance with 8.4 rebounds and 1.8 blocks, while Lonzo Ball, when healthy, sets the tempo at 5.7 assists per game. The Cavs average 118.4 points on 45.6% shooting, and their size and rebounding, 40.3 per game, give them a physical edge. They protect the rim with 5.0 blocks per game and force calculated possessions through Mobley's defensive anchor and collective length. This matchup defines itself as strength versus strength, Chicago's pace and offensive rhythm against Cleveland's structured, efficient defense. Form favors both sides, but the Cavs carry more momentum, winning 3 of their last 5, capped by a 132-121 win over Philadelphia and a 117-109 triumph over Atlanta. Their losses came narrowly, suggesting refinement rather than regression. Cleveland's scoring has climbed with each outing, while ball movement and transition execution have sharpened. The Bulls have been strong, winning 4 straight before a 128-116 loss to the Knicks. They've topped 113 points in 5 straight, showing offensive rhythm, but transition defense and free throw inconsistency remain concerns. At the heart of this matchup is the duel between Giddey and Mitchell. Giddey's blend of control and creativity drives Chicago's balanced offense, 23.1 points, 9.1 assists, 49.6% shooting, and a steady 75% from the line. His passing threads through tight defenses to create rhythm. Mitchell, by contrast, is an offensive avalanche, averaging 31.9 points on 57.6% shooting and 45.5% from deep. He punishes single coverage and thrives on momentum. The battle between Giddey's orchestration and Mitchell's aggression will dictate pace. One seeks to dictate, the other, to detonate. The prediction points toward Cleveland. Tactically, this game hinges on tempo and turnover control. Chicago's offensive spacing can stretch Cleveland's interior defense, forcing Mobley to defend in motion. Yet Cleveland's rebounding and transition awareness give them the tools to counter. The Bulls' shooting balance meets a Cavs defense that concedes under 115 points on average. If Cleveland forces Chicago into contested jumpers and wins the rebounding margin, their half-court efficiency could take over. Bench depth also tilts toward Cleveland, whose rotation remains steadier despite injuries to Max Strus and Dean Wade. Chicago's depth will be tested with Kobe White and Zach Collins sidelined, demanding heavier minutes from the starters. Cleveland's combination of star control, rebounding dominance, and home rhythm gives them the edge. Expect a spirited start from Chicago, but sustained efficiency from Mitchell and Mobley should dictate the final stretch. Cavaliers 121, Bulls 113. The total pick for this match is under 250.5. New Orleans Pelicans vs San Antonio Spurs, a Texas night under the lights carrying 2 distinct storylines. One team pushing toward early season dominance, the other fighting to find rhythm before the standings widen further. The Spurs, sitting 5-2 and perfect at home, have surged into second place in the Southwest Division behind Houston. The Pelicans at 2-6 and winless in 4 road contests remain in search of stability. The matchup predictor paints a clear picture, heavy advantage to San Antonio. Yet it's the kind of contrast that fuels NBA tension, one side confident and balanced, the other desperate and dangerous. The tale of the tape shows why those numbers tilt the way they do. San Antonio averages 117.9 points per game while shooting 48.3% from the field and controlling the glass with 46.3 rebounds per contest. New Orleans trails with 107.9 points on 42.9% shooting, hitting just 28.3% from deep. The Spurs also move the ball more fluidly, posting 23.9 assists per game to the Pelicans' 22.1 while holding a strong defensive edge with 5.9 blocks and 8.9 steals per game. The Pelicans counter with slight discipline, turning the ball over just 13.6 times per outing compared to San Antonio's 15.4. Offensively, Victor Wembanyama leads the Spurs with 25.6 points, 12.9 rebounds, and 4.1 blocks per game, a towering two-way presence shooting 50.8% from the field. Stephon Castle complements him with 16 points and 5.7 assists, providing playmaking balance and perimeter defense. For New Orleans, Zion Williamson drives their attack, averaging 22.8 points, 6.8 rebounds, and 4.6 assists, producing nearly half his team's offensive spark with 48.7% efficiency. His inside presence defines their identity, but without consistent perimeter spacing, the Pelicans often face clogged lanes and forced mid-range attempts. The defining matchup theme is San Antonio's structured interior defense and transition control against New Orleans' paint-first scoring approach. The Spurs have claimed 5 of their last 7, including tight wins over the Lakers, Heat, and Nets, proof of their resilience in closing time. Their offense has been steady, cracking 118-plus points in 4 of their last 5 outings. The Pelicans, meanwhile, have recently shown signs of life. After dropping 4 straight, they've strung together back-to-back wins against Dallas and Charlotte, rediscovering tempo and cohesion. Their offensive improvement is clear, topping 100 points in consecutive games with better ball movement and shot selection. The key matchup is Zion Williamson versus Victor Wembanyama. Williamson dominates with power and efficiency inside, shooting about 67% and grabbing 7 boards per game, while Wembanyama counters with length, defense, and smooth perimeter skill, connecting on 50.8% overall while anchoring San Antonio's defense. The contrast couldn't be sharper. Zion's explosiveness and contact-driven dominance against Victor's vertical command and timing. If Williamson can push pace and draw fouls, New Orleans gains leverage. If Wembanyama holds his ground, the Spurs dictate tempo. Strategically, San Antonio holds the edge in structure. They rebound better, shoot more efficiently, and control the defensive glass with purpose. Their spacing around Castle's ball handling and Wembanyama's gravity creates balance few young teams achieve. New Orleans must lean into transition, attacking early before San Antonio sets its wall inside. The Pelicans' guard depth, led by Jordan Poole's 11.9 points and 3.6 assists, could tilt momentum if perimeter shots fall. But with Brandon Ingram and Williamson both on the injury list, offensive flow may stall against a disciplined Spurs front line. San Antonio's bench, anchored by veterans like Kelly Olynyk and Keldon Johnson, provides steady spacing and defensive rotations, while the Pelicans' rotation depth is still forming amid absences. In the end, the deciding factor comes down to efficiency and rim control. The Spurs simply play cleaner basketball, they shoot better, defend smarter, and rebound stronger. New Orleans will compete with heart and tempo, but without consistent perimeter threats, they'll struggle to sustain runs. Expect Wembanyama to own the interior and Castle to orchestrate in rhythm as San Antonio maintains its early season composure. San Antonio extends its home dominance behind defensive discipline and balanced scoring while New Orleans shows flashes but fades under pressure in the fourth quarter. The total pick for this match is over 218.5. Phoenix Suns vs Los Angeles Clippers. The Pacific Division spotlight shifts to Inglewood as the Suns, 4-5 and 9th in the Western Conference, visit the Clippers, 3-5 and 12th in the West, at the Intuit Dome. It's a clash between two talented but uneven contenders searching for rhythm. The Suns, trying to halt a 3-game skid, face a Clippers squad equally desperate to reset after consecutive home losses. With win probabilities leaning toward Los Angeles, the stage is set for urgency, pride, and a test of which roster can rediscover its early season edge. Phoenix rides into this matchup averaging 110.7 points per game while shooting 46% from the floor and 37.5% from 3. Their pace is driven by Devin Booker's brilliance, 30.2 points, 7 assists, and 50.8% from the field, and anchored by Mark Williams's interior control at 10 rebounds per game. Royce O'Neal provides defensive bite with 1.4 steals while Ryan Dunn adds a block per night. The Suns' identity is clear: fast-paced spacing, elite shot creation, and a reliance on Booker's orchestration to stretch defenses thin. Yet turnovers at 15.9 per game and streaky outside shooting have kept them hovering below .500. The Clippers counter with balance and star pedigree. Kawhi Leonard headlines their attack at 24.3 points on 50.5% shooting, supported by James Harden's 8.6 assists and 8.6 rebounds, nearly a triple-double pace. Ivica Zubac anchors the paint with 9.9 boards, while Leonard's 2.5 steals and Derrick Jones Jr.'s 1 block highlight their defensive teeth. Los Angeles averages 110.5 points and shoots 47.7% from the field, slightly ahead of Phoenix in efficiency but behind in three-point accuracy at 35.7%. Their challenge has been defensive consistency. They allow high percentage looks in transition and have been prone to cold stretches from beyond the arc. Form tells the story of momentum versus recovery. Phoenix, winners of 3 of their last 5, has rediscovered late-game composure, notching high-tempo wins over Utah, San Antonio, and Golden State while averaging 117 points in that stretch. Their lone blemish came in a narrow loss to Memphis, where rebounding lapses cost them down the stretch. Conversely, the Clippers have dropped 3 straight, including tough defeats to Miami, New Orleans, and Oklahoma City. Their offense has sputtered in crunch time, and defensive rotations have looked fatigued, a sign of a team still blending chemistry with new rotations. The marquee duel centers on Booker versus Leonard, 2 All-NBA wings with contrasting rhythms. Booker's game is rooted in relentless pace and surgical precision, hitting over 50% from the field, 43% from deep, and 86% at the line. He's the Suns' metronome, dictating tempo and finding shooters off high screens. Leonard counters with controlled destruction, 24.3 points on 50.5% shooting and 40% from 3, pairing offensive economy with defensive mastery. Where Booker thrives in motion and pull-ups, Leonard dominates through isolation, angles, and balance. Harden's playmaking adds another layer, testing Phoenix's perimeter containment, while Williams's rim presence will be crucial to deter Leonard's mid-range incursions. Yet the key might lie in tempo. If Leonard dictates pace and forces Phoenix into half-court battles, the Clippers can grind this one down possession by possession. But if Booker and Durant get out in transition, that rhythm could tilt fast, turning precision into a shootout that even Leonard's poise may struggle to contain. Tactically, this matchup leans toward precision over pace. The Suns' offensive rhythm depends on their ball movement and ability to stretch the floor against a Clippers defense that switches frequently but struggles with second-chance containment. Phoenix must win the rebounding margin. They average 43 boards to Law's 42.5, and controlled turnovers to prevent transition bursts. Los Angeles will look to exploit mismatches with Harden-Leonard 2-man sets and capitalize on Phoenix's inconsistent defensive rebounding. Bench depth could be the swing factor. The Clippers' supporting cast has underperformed, while Phoenix's second unit, led by Jalen Green and O'Neal, has provided steady scoring and perimeter defense. Expect an intense chess match, Booker's pace versus Leonard's poise, tempo against control. The Suns' recent offensive surge gives them rhythm, but the Clippers' efficiency at home and desperation to avoid a 4th straight loss tilt the balance slightly. In a tightly contested affair defined by late-game execution, expect the Clippers' defensive adjustments and Leonard's two-way impact to prevail down the stretch. Los Angeles steadies the ship with superior efficiency and late-game poise, halting its slide in front of a charged home crowd. The total pick for this match is under 230.5. That's a wrap for today's Beyond the Box score breakdown. If you enjoyed the analysis, smash that like button, drop your picks in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a beat this NBA season. And if you want my top premium plays, the ones I'm personally writing, hit the link below. Until next time, keep watching Beyond the Box Score, where we turn stats into winning insight.